I'm born in 1957 in Dallas, Texas. I grew up in the moment of explosion of music and technology and the arrival of synthesizers and progressive rock music. I dreamed of being a musician and composer from the time I was 10 or 12. I found myself moving from one musical stage to another, from rock music to jazz music to musique contemporaine. I eventually ended up studying at Columbia University. Then I came to France to work with Gérard Griset for several years, and then I was invited to IRCAM here in Paris for several years. Subsequently was hired by the University of California, Berkeley as a professor in 1996 and have been at Berkeley since that time, and currently I'm the director of the Center for New Music and Audio Technologies.
I'm Kurt Hentschla. I'm originally from Austria. I was born in Linz, small city, about 2 hours from Vienna. I left about 18, went to Vienna and studied first architecture and then at the Academy of Fine Arts. So I started as a visual artist originally. But predominantly, I see myself as an audiovisual artist. I always work with both sound and image and with space, like the spatial component, which goes back to my architectural beginnings. Yeah, so the work comes out of it's really like a process over almost 10 years. I started in about 2004 working in real-time 3D animation with, avatars, like humanoid bodies, pretty much clones of each other. It's like really one body that is like multiplied. And from the earliest version, the idea was that it's kind of an artificial virtual ballet of sorts that while it is moving in a zero gravity space with a simulated real physics, each body would be one instrument and would create a sound that would be shaped through the movements and interactions of the bodies. So there are two expressions generally now. There's like sound-wise, there's like the Cluster.X sound that is really attached to the bodies or comes off the bodies. And then there's the expression that Ed composed for the Ensemble Intercontemporain, and they mix in space in the concert hall during the show.
We capture the live sound of the ensemble with microphones, and we go into computers and we occupy space. So in some ways, the history of Cluster.X is a history of both music and technology in some ways. If you go across the piece, you'll find that in some places the ensemble is not amplified. It's very much like music and film from the 1920s. At a certain point, as you move through the piece, the ensemble and the electronics begin to merge to understand each other and occupy a space. The issue of the body, of course, is central to our kind. It is certainly central to the history of music, as all of the instruments are expressions or technological extensions of the human body. And most of us understand music, the sound of instruments, as forms of speaking or sound of or singing. It's an extreme form of the human body expressed through sound. I'm interested in the denial of that as well as the acceptance of it. So sometimes the instruments in Cluster.X will behave in traditional ways. Sometimes they will subvert that tradition. Sometimes they will distort it. So the entire continuum of possible relationships of the body to the technology, which is also an instrument.
The human body is just generally, you know, particularly in a time where, because of technology, right, there's a widespread immobilization of the human body, like a lot of sitting, a lot of kind of, in a way, transcending of the body, unconscious transcending of the body, and it's all our feedback loops between our cortex and whatever machinery and computers and networks we are interacting with. But at the end of the day, the human body is, I don't know, it's like always the focal point, I think, generally in interactions in human existence. So that never gets old. Certain things never get old, right?